What a historic moment for South African politics. Tell us just briefly to everybody in South Africa, what did you aim to achieve here at the National Convention? And do you think that was a success?
It is an incredible moment, and I think firstly it's significant where we are, the venue of these negotiations, considering that 32 years ago, this is the venue where CODESA was negotiated. And for me, what was the marker of success was whether or not these 7 political parties who have decided to formulate a multi-party charter can get around the table and agree on non-political things that are facing South Africans. So issues like unemployment, which these are non-partisan issues. The issue is the fact that half of South Africans are living in abject poverty. The fact that we have an energy crisis that requires a resolution quickly. The fact that there are 80% of children in grade 4 cannot read for meaning. Those are things that go beyond party political lines, and those are the things that these parties sought to sit around the table and say, we can agree that these are crises that are facing South Africans, and we can agree to place our differences aside and come up with solutions, because ultimately it is South Africa that stands to lose if we can't put our own political differences aside. And so if you're asking me whether or not this 2 days was a success, it's a resounding success, because after 2 days we were able to come up with common governance principles that would essentially underpin any government that would be formed by these political parties. We were able to come up with rules of engagement of how we would campaign individually, but also as a governance charter. And all of these things point to the fact that these political parties are dedicated to forming a real alternative to the ANC come to 2024.
I couldn't agree with you more, right? So you've taken us through the success, but what are your key highlights? If you were to think of 3 things that were literally at like the bombs of this convention, what are those?
I think what was really, for me, that really stood out, I think, when these political leaders came into and we started as a negotiating team, we all came in there as different political parties with all our political agendas, but also our histories, as you know, having worked together or not worked together in some parts of South Africa. But it became very clear very soon that for this convention to work and for this charter to work, we're going to have to park those histories. We're going to have to park those political ideologies, and we're going to have common ground. And I actually believe we realized that we had more in common than we did not. And in fact, we realized that we were all passionate about saving South Africa, and that for me was my highlight.
Yeah. Okay, so run me through the journey to today. It wasn't easy. You guys have been at it for 3 months. Run us through the moment before today.
Look, it's been a long process of, weeks and weeks of preparation. We also want to thank the independent facilitators and our independent chair, Professor Gumede, who and his team were integral to making this a success. And he's been chairing some of the meetings, ensuring that as political parties we find each other. But then this was obviously the crescendo of the entire process. Now we are here, but it's also only the beginning. We've now said to South Africans, we are committing ourselves publicly to be held accountable by you. Our agreement is made public, and definitely on our website and the website of other political parties. We are saying to you that you can hold us accountable to what we have agreed to today. And I hope that is a sign, really, a signal to South Africans at home that there are political parties who are taking this moment in history very seriously and who are taking their issues quite seriously. So this is only the beginning, and it's going to be a long 18 months to the elections. But I do want to say one thing, Karabo, before we go, that in as much as there was an agreement by political parties today, we can only but make this a success if South Africans partner with us. And you may ask, how do you partner with us? You can partner with us by registering to vote. You can only partner us and make history with us if you register to vote and go and cast your vote next year. Because we can make all the plans, we can have all the agreements, but if South Africans don't come along with us, we're not going to be able to rescue South Africa.
100%. Like, I'm here and I'm captivated because you are absolutely right. It's incumbent on all of us to show up for our history. Final thoughts to everybody at home. If there's one thing everybody must remember, what is that?
If one thing anybody must remember is that you've got a choice and there is an alternative. I think a lot of people have been despondent and have checked out of politics for many reasons, and with reason, because politics has been depressing in South Africa. And I think when people have been looking at political leaders tearing each other apart, it can be very, very, very discouraging. But I do want to say to people that I think we've taken a turn in the past 2 days. And I would like them to give us an opportunity to show them that there is an alternative to their current reality.
There you have it, South Africa. That is the chief whip of the official opposition in Parliament, Siviwe Gwarube.